guys, for lack of a better word, I guess kind of open the playbook up a little bit, kind of with the, flea flicker, things like that.
Yep.
Is that a kind of a concerted effort going in to kind of, experiment with different things and just kind of, feel things out?
Yeah, I think a couple things. Coming out of the Minnesota game, we're trying to create more explosive plays. That's one thing for sure. And I think sometimes it's the opponent and the structure of the defense and so forth, but also, getting Connor a full week of practice and the reps of the different things. The starter gets the majority of the reps during practice, and sometimes the other guys don't get those reps. So I think it was a combination, a concerted effort, trying to create explosives, and I think the defense we played was a lot different than the one we played at Minnesota, so it allowed us to do some of that. But at the end of the day, you got to execute it. I was proud of our guys for executing some of those things, and thought they gave us a shot in the arm at times.
Chip, we always talk about the game needs to slow down for.
Yeah.
From your perspective, what does that look like, specifically as it relates to Connor, but also just in general?
Yeah, I think for a young quarterback, any young quarterback, the more they play, it does slow down. I think you're right. And I think some guys, it slows down a little quicker or a little faster than others. Some guys come up right out of high school and they seem to play well as freshmen, and some guys it takes a year or two and then they develop. Obviously Connor hadn't got the reps until really most recently this year, and I saw as the game went, I thought he settled in more, and I know he was excited to play, nervous energy, but in a good way. And I think the more he played, the more he settled in, and the more comfortable he became. And I think with quarterback, it's really, protections, being able to feel the protection and understand the protection at the same time, keep your eyes downfield. That's hard for a lot of young quarterbacks, and I thought he made progress in that area and started to throw the ball accurately. I think early in the game, he was nervous and excited, and at the same time, we didn't help him a couple times early. But I thought as the game went, he progressed and it did slow down. And what you hope now is that he's got a lot of confidence because he got his first win, which is something that in the locker room he and I talked about and excited to get. And hopefully, as we move forward, that confidence will continue to grow. And I think that comes naturally with getting reps and playing.
Adversity. Go ahead.
Either way,
No,
it's a
you
common
got caught a couple times. You go.
I was trying hard with math. With Connor after that first series where he's getting smacked in the mouth. And, there was a time where he ran back into the end zone. It's kind of like, oh God, here we go.
I was too.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Did you try to, want to, or have to get on the headphones and say, look, let's calm down here, buddy? Like, were you trying to sort of soothe him over the headphones?
I think it's important during the game on game day to handle those guys the right way. You don't want to show panic as a coach, and you don't want to, you want those guys to play with confidence. And if you have to be careful, I think, how you approach it. There's a time and a place, I think, for you to really get after a quarterback, and there's a time that you just try to settle him down. And Connor's a really smart guy, and it's not he understands. He'll come off and get on the headphones and say, hey, I screwed that up. I next time I'll do this or whatever. And he's the first to point the finger at himself. But I think for him, it was just, hey, settle down. We're good. It didn't start like we wanted. One of the worst starts you'd want probably for a new starter. But you saw how he rebounded. And then the next drive, I want to say it was that long drive we scored a touchdown on, and he made a great throw to Bryson. Yeah. So I think he settled in pretty good, and part of that is just the maturity on his part to, when you play quarterback, you have to move on from the previous play. You can't let that live and affect the next play, and I think that's really important. I thought he did a nice job of that.
So adversity.
Jacoby got coming on that last drive.
Yeah.
Make big plays.
Yeah.
How close is he to where you guys want QB2 to be?
Yeah, he's getting closer. In fact, we had a discussion on the headset, Coach Brown and I, about letting him play the game. Not and I think they scored a touchdown there that made it where, hey, let's just try to run it and get out of there. But at the same time, we want to get him reps as we can. He's improved. You see his progress. Last week he got all the reps with that second group, and he's coming. It's just a matter of time, and I think for him just getting comfortable and the more he improves, he's getting closer because he's one play away now, and he understands that. And I think the sense of urgency that he's showing in preparing and practice is going to pay off, and he's in a good spot and mentally, and I think he's approaching it the right way.
Adversity can spawn growth, and
what's that now?
Adversity can spawn growth.
Yeah.
And in the first half, Connor loses Austin Blasky.
Yeah.
The guy he's more comfortable with, because
Right.
Zach just showed up a few
Yeah.
months ago.
Right.
And then he loses kind of that comfort with Omarion going out. How do you think he handled those changes during the course of the
Yeah,
game? And
very-
how much do you think that helped him grow so?
Yeah, I think very well. I mean, being up in the press box, I'm not right in front of him, but there was no panic in his voice or on his face at halftime. I thought he handled things very well, tried to execute the offense, and we've got other playmakers too. Omarion's a huge part of what we do, obviously, but I thought, we got a lot of confidence in Bullitt. We got a lot of confidence in the other backs and the playmakers on the perimeter. So just got to do a better job of executing and getting those balls to him, and he did that as the game moved on. And like I said, I think he's got a really good demeanor to play the position, never too high, never too low, and I think he responded the right way on Saturday.
If I can follow up on
Yeah,
that real
go
fast.
ahead.
If you can itemize maybe a couple of things both ways. One, maybe a couple of things that Connor did really well the other day that you're very pleased with. Maybe a couple of things you kind of speed up the improvement
Yeah,
process.
I thought he made good decisions for the most part in the zone read game. Pulling the ball when he was supposed to, or giving the ball in the zone read game. There were some other things that are box count runs that I thought he should have handed the ball early, but as the game went on, he corrected those. A lot of our runs, especially an 11 and 12 personnel, they're box count runs, meaning if the box counts is good, we want to hand it. If it's not, we have an option to throw it. And I thought after he saw it a couple times, I thought he handled those very well, so improved as the game went. The biggest thing I think he did is he kept playing. He didn't let one play affect the next play, and that's what we talked about a lot. And I think that showed. And as the game moved forward, I think, hey, I made a mistake here, but I don't let it carry over. And I thought he did a great job with that.
Matt talked about trying to get Connor to have more fun and stop trying to please us, especially on Saturday. What has he tried, maybe on or off the field to ease that pressure for himself?
That's a great question. I think Connor is a really smart guy that he wants to do well for himself, but also for our football team and this university. And when a guy doesn't have a lot of experience, maybe he puts a little too much pressure on himself. But I think the more he continues to play, he'll grow in that area. And really, we just want him to play with confidence, and we got confidence in him. We've told him that. He understands that. I think, again, the more reps he gets, I think the more he'll show that for sure.
Just two quick questions.
Yep.
How many players did you use offensively?
We played 34 guys, 34 different
An
guys.
offensive line, how many, max of what, 13?
I think, 13 sounds, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Bullitt was the offensive player of the game, just evaluate.
Yeah.
Max said he seemed to do everything well.
Yeah, I've said this, I think, one time in front of you guys before. Like, when he got here in January, one of the most impressive freshmen I've been around that comes in January, goes through spring practice, and he looks like he belongs already. And usually that's not running the ball, because a lot of times those guys can run the ball no matter what. But it showed up in pass protection. It showed up in learning the offense. It showed up in understanding when we check the protection to something else and so forth. And I think that's a testament to him and how he prepared, but the high school program he came from as well. And he's shown that maturity from day one, and the physicality that he's shown, I think too. When you stand in there and pass protect, or you run between the tackles like we try to do, sometimes freshmen they take a little time, but he looked like he fit in from day one. We had a lot of confidence in him Saturday, and he got his opportunities, and he did a great job with it.
To ask you real quick
Yep.
about Christian Hamilton.
Yeah.
Like, I think for the outside, maybe a UNC football fan, you think receiver, you think J.J. Jones, Nate McCall,
Sure.
Kobe Maysor,
Yep.
Ship, Culver. How have you seen his development
Yeah.
progress? And what has allowed him to get on the field? He's starting these games for you, and he obviously had his
Yeah.
first touchdown catch.
I think for him, the thing that when I think about Christian, he's tough. He's a tough guy. He does a lot of the dirty work, blocking on the perimeter. He's going to catch the football. He's extremely competitive. He tries to play physical. I know he's not as big as some of the other guys, but he plays physical. And in a lot of things that we personnel and try to get quick huddles and things, he's in that because of the physicality he shows. And he'll catch the football. He's got really good hands, and he caught the long one on the trick play. But at the same time, we got a lot of confidence in him, and also being able to play multiple positions. That's something that's made him extremely valuable. He can play outside. He can play inside. I know Lonnie has a lot of confidence in him, and I just like his demeanor. He's kind of a quiet guy, no drama, and goes about his business in the right way.
Well, he was more of a slot when he got here, I guess, right? I mean,
He's
sort of branched out.
But you got Nate, you got Kobe, Ships played in the slot some, so having a guy that can do both and move inside and outside is really important. He kind of has fit that role for us.
What have you kind of seen in the early prep on Central's defense? Seems like they're pretty opportunistic.
Yeah.
Picks and 6 sacks already.
Yeah. It seems like they've created some turnovers. They play extremely hard. Those guys are very active. The D linemen, they don't seem, when they're getting blocked, they don't stay blocked. They're fighting to get free. The linebackers, they like to fit downhill. The secondary, you know, those guys, they can run. They're going to do a great job, I think, challenging you in the passing game. So I think they're a solid football team. I think they do a great job with what they do. I know they've had success in their program. So, you know, for us, and we've really tried to work on this here. I know Coach Brown's talked a lot to our team about it, is, you know, for us to really play UNC every week. Let's focus on playing good, clean football. We've said that against Minnesota. We've said that against Charlotte. And I think for us, you know, you always respect your opponent. You know their strengths, but at the same time, we need to go out and play good, clean football. And offensively, we hadn't done that yet. You know, not a complete game. We did some good things Saturday, but then we turned around and did some things not so good too. So we want to just be really more consistent.
How are you trying to prepare Connor for that kind of opportunistic defensive come at you?
Yeah, I think just try to make it where, hey, we know where to go with the ball every time. There's no guessing. There's no indecision. I want him to be really decisive. I want him to make good decisions, quick decisions, but you know, be decisive. When you commit, hey, I'm going to do this or do that, let's commit to it and be all in and be on time. I think that's important. Making sure his footwork's right so he is on time. And then again, you know, studying this week and knowing the game plan inside and out. I think those are things that he's going to do well this week.
Is being decisive one of those things that
Yeah,
you struggle with?
I think any quarterback. Well, I don't know that he's struggled. There's certain things he's been really decisive, and then there's certain other things that. And in his defense, you know, defenses are really good at. They know you're watching the film too, so they might present you some things you hadn't seen before. And when you have a quarterback, maybe it's inexperienced, you know, haven't played as much. It takes him a minute to see that and react to it. But at the end of the day, you know, for the most part, I think you saw as the game went on, he made better and better decisions and really settled in.
Chip, having had the chance to look at that film, Zach Greenberg was one of those guys that got some extended run because,
Yeah.
you know, Blasky went down. How would you evaluate, you know, the snaps that he played, and just how would you kind of assess the performance having been able to?
Yeah, I think for his first real action, you know, extended action, I thought he did a nice job. He tried to be physical. There's some things I think footwork-wise he'd want to clean up in the run game, but you know, I thought he ID'd the defense correctly most all the time, and the center's a valuable piece of that. You know, making sure we get everybody on the right page, and he's a smart guy. And you know, for him, you know, he's getting extended time and making that jump from where he came from to here is big for him. But he's practiced well all week, and I think he's in a good spot. And I think the more he plays, I think he'll improve each and every time out.
When you guys went through the process of bringing him in,
Yeah.
I don't know how much film you watched him, how much film was even available, but
Yeah.
what did you see on film at the D3 level that you thought could translate to this level?
Yeah, that's a great question because we spent a lot of time on film. When you get a guy from that level, you know, at other places I've been, we've taken some lower level guys too, and we had one that panned out and became an all-conference player and is still playing in the NFL. But he signed as a tight end and kind of grew into an O-lineman. I think Zach was one of those, not necessarily a tight end, but I think his body developed once he got there. And what you saw in his film was he liked to finish. He played extremely hard, and that's what he should do, probably at that level, if you think about it. And he liked to play hard. He liked to finish people on the ground. He played extremely hard, and when you talk to him, you know he's a bright kid from the start. So we just felt like, hey, he's a great fit here, bring a lot of depth to the O-line, which we needed. And he has played, he has some experience, not at this level, but I think he's doing a great job of maturing each and every time out.
Was there a level of confidence that just kind of struck you as well? Because I would think for most
Yeah.
guys to go from there
Yep.
to here and think you can play,
Agreed,
that's
yeah.
a pretty big jump.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think his approach mentally, he is a mentally mature kid, and I think in his mind, he felt like, hey, I'm a smart guy, I'm a tough guy, that's kind of what I am. I'll get used to the speed of the game and the size, and I think he's approached it each and every day, and you know, you can see the confidence, I think, growing in him the more he plays as well.
Got time for one more.
Yep.
Are there things that you do this week to possibly prepare Bullet to start? You know,
Yeah.
depending on how Omarion is?
Yeah, I think so. I think all those guys have to be available. I don't think you can make it with one running back. I know with Minnesota, Amari got the workload. It was one of those kind of games, but yeah, I think so. But we got confidence in all those guys. You saw Caleb Hood got some action on Saturday. I thought he, you know, was getting himself back going. You know, I think that room, Larry's done a really good job of putting those guys in situations in practice where they're getting reps with the ones, and at times we've been able to rest Omari, and especially in the live stuff. So that's been really good, and got a lot of confidence in those running backs.
Real quick, what was the
So, man, you would tell, it was 2017 at Auburn. He came from UMass. Jack Driscoll, and I came from UMass. Okay,
Got there eventually.
that's tough, man. When you've been coaching a long time, it's hard to remember all of it. Sometimes I'll call somebody the wrong name. Somebody will go. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pulled it out before.